There are worlds where the sky is not blue, not black, but burning. Worlds where the air itself can melt metal, where rain falls sideways in shards of glass, where gravity stretches the very meaning of weight. These are not nightmares. They are planets. Real, measured, mapped, and silently orbiting distant stars. Imagine standing on a surface where the temperature rises beyond 2,000 degrees, hot enough to vaporize rock into a glowing haze. The ground beneath you does not feel solid. It shimmers, as if reality itself is softening. Above, a sun hangs so close it devours half the sky. Its light not warm but violent, a constant blast of radiation that strips atoms apart. There are planets where a year lasts less than a single Earth day, where the orbit is so tight that the world is tidally locked, one side trapped in eternal daylight, the other frozen in endless night. Between them, a thin line of chaos. Winds scream across this boundary at thousands of miles per hour, carrying clouds of vaporized minerals, molten droplets suspended in a supersonic storm. The atmosphere glows faintly, not from life, but from heat so intense it excites the atoms into a dim, hellish light. Farther out, there are giants so dense they defy intuition. Planets made not of gas, not of rock, but of compressed matter under pressures that crush familiar chemistry into something alien. Their gravity pulls with a quiet, inescapable force. Step there, and your body would feel impossibly heavy. Every movement slowed, every breath a struggle against a planet that refuses to let anything rise. Some worlds are cloaked in darkness so complete that starlight barely penetrates. Thick layers of clouds, laced with toxic compounds, wrap the planet in a suffocating shroud. Lightning flashes within these clouds, not as brief sparks, but as vast, branching veins of energy that illuminate entire hemispheres for seconds at a time. The storms never end. They evolve, grow, and consume, driven by heat rising from depths no probe has ever reached. There are planets where it rains glass, not metaphorically, but literally. Silicate particles form in the upper atmosphere, carried by winds that exceed the speed of sound, then fall in a relentless horizontal barrage. Each shard is microscopic, but together they scour the surface like a cosmic sandblaster, carving, eroding, reshaping a world in perpetual violence. And then there are the orphaned planets, worlds cast out from their stars, drifting through the interstellar void. No sunrise, no sunset. Only the faint glow of distant galaxies and the internal heat of their own formation slowly fading into cold silence. Their atmospheres freeze, collapse, and fall as snow onto a surface that will never see light again. These planets exist. They orbit, spin, burn, and freeze in a universe that is vast beyond comprehension. Each one is a reminder that the conditions we call normal are fragile, rare, and temporary. Because out there in the endless dark, the universe is not designed for comfort. It is designed for extremes. Begin with a world where the sky is not a sky at all, but a wall of fire. This is a planet orbiting so close to its star that a single year lasts only 18 hours. The distance between them is smaller than the distance between a moon and its planet in our own solar system. At this proximity, the star does not rise or set. It hangs fixed in the sky, a colossal sphere of plasma, swallowing the entire horizon. The side facing the star reaches temperatures high enough to melt titanium, to boil silicon, to turn a rock into a glowing ocean of magma that ripples under the weight of intense gravity. The atmosphere here is not air as we know it. It is a supercritical fluid, a state where gas and liquid blur into one, dense enough to exert crushing pressure, hot enough to ionize atoms into plasma. Winds rage across the surface at speeds exceeding 5,000 miles per hour, driven by the extreme temperature difference between the day and night sides. These winds carry vaporized rock, droplets of molten iron, clouds of molten silicate. The rain that falls here is not water. It is liquid metal, falling upward on the hot side, evaporating before it can touch the surface, circulating in a deadly loop that never ends. Imagine standing on the twilight zone, the narrow band between eternal day and eternal night. Here, the light is dim, reddish, the color of cooled embers. The temperature is still high enough to ignite wood instantly, to melt lead in seconds. But it is the only place where matter can exist in a solid form, if only for a moment. The ground beneath you is cracked, fractured, shifting as the planet's crust reacts to the tidal forces of its star. The star's gravity pulls harder on the near side than the far side, stretching the entire world like taffy. This is tidal locking, a fate that awaits any planet that ventures too close to its sun. Now drift farther out, to a different kind of hell. A planet where the atmosphere is so thick that the pressure at the surface is 90 times greater than on Earth. The air is mostly carbon dioxide, laced with clouds of sulfuric acid that rain down but never reach the ground. Before they can touch the surface, the droplets evaporate in a process called virga, creating a perpetual cycle of condensation and evaporation that traps heat in a runaway greenhouse effect. The temperature here is high enough to melt lead, constant across the entire planet, day and night, equator and pole. There is no wind, no storm, no relief. Only heat, trapped, building, suffocating. This is what happens when a planet loses its balance. When the delicate interplay between star, atmosphere, and surface tips too far in one direction. On Earth, we call this balance the habitable zone, the region where water can exist as liquid, where life as we know it can thrive. But outside this zone, the universe becomes a place of extremes. Worlds that are too hot, too cold, too dense, too thin. Worlds where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural, as if reality itself has been twisted. Consider a planet made not of rock, but of diamond, not metaphorically, not poetically. A real, measurable, carbon-rich world orbiting a dead star. The core of this planet is under such immense pressure that carbon atoms are forced into a crystalline lattice, forming a diamond larger than any found on Earth. The entire planet may be a single crystal, a gem the size of a world, orbiting in silence through the darkness. There is no life here, no atmosphere, no surface features, just a cold, hard, perfect diamond, glowing faintly in the infrared, invisible to the naked eye. What does it mean for a world to be made of diamond? It challenges our understanding of geology, of chemistry, of what a planet can be. On Earth, diamonds are rare, formed deep in the mantle under extreme pressure, brought to the surface by volcanic eruptions. But here, on this distant world, diamond is the norm. The entire crust, the entire mantle, perhaps the entire core, is crystalline carbon. This is not a jewel to be mined. This is a world, a place where time, pressure, and chemistry have conspired to create something impossible on Earth. Now move to a planet where it rains glass. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. Silicate particles form in the upper atmosphere, carried by winds that exceed the speed of sound, then fall in a relentless, horizontal barrage. The wind here is so strong that it bends the rain sideways, creating a storm that sweeps across the entire planet in a single direction. The glass shards are microscopic, but together they scour the surface like a cosmic sandblaster, carving, eroding, reshaping a world in perpetual violence. This is not a place where life could exist, not in any form we can imagine. The atmosphere is too hot, the winds too strong, the rain too destructive. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits a star, it follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront a simple truth. The universe is not designed for us. It is not designed for life. It is designed for extremes, for chaos, for processes that operate on scales we can barely comprehend. Imagine standing on the surface of this planet, if such a thing were possible. The wind would tear you apart. The glass rain would shred your skin. The heat would boil your blood. But even in this impossibility, there is beauty. The way the light refracts through the glass shards, creating a shimmering, prismatic haze. The way the wind sings as it tears across the surface, a low, mournful hum that resonates through the atmosphere. The way the planet itself seems to pulse, as if alive, as if breathing. These are the worlds we are finding, worlds that challenge our understanding of what a planet can be, worlds that force us to confront the sheer scale of the universe, the diversity of its contents, the limits of our own imagination. Each one is a reminder that the conditions we call normal are fragile, rare, and temporary. That Earth, with its blue skies, its liquid water, its gentle climate, is an anomaly, a miracle, a needle in a cosmic haystack. And yet, we continue to search. We continue to look for other worlds, other possibilities, other places where life might exist. Because deep down, we know that we are alone here, that Earth is our only home, that if we lose it, there is no other place to go. The universe is vast, but it is not kind. It is full of wonders, but it is also full of horrors. And we are caught in between, small, fragile, and desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Drift now to a world where time itself feels broken. A planet that orbits a dead star, a white dwarf, the burnt-out core of a sun that once shone like ours, but has long since exhausted its fuel. The planet survives somehow, in the aftermath of stellar death. It should not be here. When the star expanded into a red giant, it should have swallowed this world whole. When it shed its outer layers, the planet should have been flung into the void, cast out into the darkness. But it remains, orbiting in silence around a corpse of a star, a ghost world in a graveyard of light. The surface of this planet is frozen, cold enough to turn atmosphere into snow. The temperature hovers near absolute zero, the lowest possible temperature, where molecular motion nearly stops. The sky is black, not the deep blue black of Earth's night, but an absolute void, devoid of stars, as if the universe itself has been turned off. The only light comes from the white dwarf, a dim bluish ember that offers no warmth, only a faint, eerie glow that illuminates the frozen landscape in shades of ghostly blue. Here the atmosphere has collapsed. The gases that once floated freely have condensed, frozen, and fallen as snow onto the surface. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all locked in ice, buried beneath layers of frozen time. The surface is a desert of ice, cracked and fractured, shaped by winds that no longer blow, by storms that no longer rage. It is a world of stillness, of silence, of death. And yet, there is something hauntingly beautiful about this place. The way the light from the white dwarf reflects off the ice, creating a shimmering, otherworldly glow. The way the cracks in the surface seem to form patterns, as if the planet itself is trying to communicate, to tell a story of survival against impossible odds. The way the silence feels heavy, as if the universe is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen, for life to find a way. This planet forces us to confront the question of what it means to survive. Survival is not just about enduring, it is about adapting, about finding a way to exist in conditions that are hostile, unforgiving, alien. On Earth, life has found a way to survive in the most extreme environments, in the deepest oceans, under mountains of ice, in the hottest deserts, in the most toxic environments. But here, on this frozen world, survival is not just difficult, it is impossible. And yet, the planet remains. It orbits. It exists. It persists. It is a testament to the resilience of matter, to the stubbornness of physics, to the fact that even in the aftermath of stellar death, something can endure. Now move to a different kind of death. A planet that orbits a neutron star, the collapsed core of a massive star that exploded in a supernova. The neutron star is small, only 20 kilometers across. But it is so dense that a teaspoon of its material would weigh 1 billion tons. It spins faster than a kitchen blender, hundreds of times per second, emitting beams of radiation that sweep across the universe like a lighthouse. This is a pulsar, and the planet orbits in the shadow of its deadly beams. The radiation here is intense, enough to strip atoms apart, to kill any form of life in an instant. The planet itself is probably a core of heavy elements, stripped of its atmosphere, scorched by the pulsar's radiation. The surface is a wasteland of heavy metals, lead, gold, platinum, forged in the supernova that created the neutron star. There is no water, no air, no life. Only radiation, heat, and the relentless spin of the pulsar above. Imagine standing on this world, if such a thing were possible. The radiation would kill you instantly. Your body would be torn apart at the atomic level, your atoms ionized, your molecules shattered. But even in this impossibility, there is a strange beauty. The way the pulsar's beams sweep across the sky, creating a strobe light effect that illuminates the surface in flashes of blinding light. The way the heavy metals on the surface shimmer, reflecting the radiation in strange, iridescent colors. The way the planet itself seems to pulse, in rhythm with the pulsar, as if it is alive, as if it is breathing. This is a world where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. The density is so high that gravity is extreme, stretching the very fabric of space and time. The radiation is so intense that it ionizes the atmosphere, creating a plasma that glows with a faint, eerie light. The spin is so fast that the pulsar's beams sweep across the universe with a precision that is almost mechanical, almost artificial. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits. It follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront a simple truth. The universe is not designed for us. It is not designed for life. It is designed for extremes, for chaos, for processes that operate on scales we can barely comprehend. Drift now to a world where the sky is filled with multiple suns, not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. A planet orbiting in a multiple star system, where two or more stars dance around each other in a cosmic ballet, and the planet orbits in the chaos of their gravitational pull. The suns rise and set in patterns that are impossible to predict, creating days and nights that are chaotic, unpredictable, alien. On this planet, the light is never constant. Sometimes both suns shine at once, creating a blinding double illumination that casts double shadows. Sometimes one sun sets while the other rises, creating a twilight that lasts for hours. Sometimes the planet passes behind one star, and the other star illuminates it from behind, creating a halo of light around the planet's silhouette. The seasons are chaotic, unpredictable, shaped by the complex gravitational interactions of multiple stars. Imagine standing on this world. The sky is a kaleidoscope of light, colors, shadows. The suns rise and set in patterns that defy logic, creating days and nights that are chaotic, unpredictable. The temperature fluctuates wildly as the planet moves closer to one star, then farther away, then closer to another. The atmosphere is constantly shifting, shaped by the complex gravitational forces of multiple stars. This is a world where time itself feels broken, where the concept of a day, a night, a season is meaningless, where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits, it follows the laws of physics, it is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront the fragility of our own understanding. On Earth, we take for granted the stability of our sun, the predictability of our days and nights, the regularity of our seasons. But out there, in the vastness of the universe, these things are not guaranteed. They are anomalies, rare, temporary, fragile. Consider the philosophical implications. If life exists on such a world, how would it perceive time? How would it measure days, nights, seasons? How would it adapt to the chaos, the unpredictability, the alien nature of its environment? Would it develop a different sense of time, a different understanding of the universe? Would it see the chaos as beautiful, as natural, as inevitable? And what does this mean for us, for humanity? We are a species that craves order, predictability, stability. We build calendars, clocks, calendars to measure time, to impose order on the chaos of the universe. But out there, in the vastness of space, order is the exception, not the rule. Chaos is the norm. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable, and we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Now move to a world where gravity is so strong that it bends light itself. A planet orbiting a black hole, the most extreme object in the universe. The black hole is small, only a few kilometers across, but it is so dense that not even light can escape its gravity. The planet orbits at a safe distance, far enough to avoid being torn apart, but close enough to feel the effects of the black hole's extreme gravity. Here, time moves differently. The gravity of the black hole warps space-time, causing time to slow down near the event horizon. A clock on the planet would tick slower than a clock far away from the black hole. This is gravitational time dilation, a real measurable effect predicted by Einstein's theory of general relativity. The closer you are to the black hole, the slower time moves. At the event horizon, time stops completely. Imagine standing on this planet. The black hole hangs in the sky, a dark sphere surrounded by a bright ring of light. the accretion disk of hot gas spiraling into the abyss. The light from the accretion disk is bent by the black hole's gravity, creating a halo of light that surrounds the dark sphere. The sky is filled with distorted images of distant stars, their light bent by the black hole's gravity, creating a kaleidoscope of light, colors, shapes. The gravity here is extreme, but not enough to tear you apart. Yet, the planet is far enough from the event horizon to survive, but close enough to feel the effects of the black hole's gravity. The ocean, if there is one, is shaped by the black hole's gravity, creating tides that are massive, relentless, unstoppable. The atmosphere is compressed, shaped by the extreme gravity, creating a dense, heavy air that is difficult to breathe. This is a world where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. Time moves differently. Light is bent. Gravity is extreme. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits. It follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront the nature of reality itself. What is time? What is space? What is gravity? These are not abstract concepts. They are real, measurable, tangible. They shape the universe, they shape our lives, they shape our understanding of the cosmos. And out there, in the vastness of space, they operate in ways that challenge our understanding, that force us to rethink everything we thought we knew. Consider the philosophical implications. If time moves differently near a black hole, what does that mean for the concept of now? What does it mean for the concept of present? If two observers are in different gravitational fields, they experience time differently. Their nows are not the same. Their presents are not the same. Reality itself is relative, dependent on the observer's position, their motion, their gravitational field. And what does this mean for us? For humanity? We are a species that craves certainty, absolutes, truths that are universal, unchanging, eternal. But out there, in the vastness of the universe, certainty is the exception, not the rule. Reality is relative, dependent on the observer, on the context, on the conditions. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable, and we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Venture now to a world where the atmosphere is not made of gas, but of liquid. A planet so massive, so dense, that its outer layers do not transition from gas to liquid gradually. Instead, they exist in a supercritical state, a phase of matter where the distinction between gas and liquid disappears. The boundary between sky and ocean vanishes. The air is as dense as water, as heavy as oil, as crushing as the depths of Earth's deepest ocean. Imagine descending into this world. There is no surface, no solid ground, no clear boundary between atmosphere and ocean. You simply sink deeper, into denser, hotter, more pressurized layers. The pressure increases relentlessly, doubling, tripling, quadrupling. At a certain depth, the pressure is so great that hydrogen, the lightest element in the universe, behaves like a metal. It conducts electricity. It reflects light. It becomes a liquid metal ocean, swirling beneath layers of supercritical fluid, driven by currents that move faster than any storm on Earth. This is what happens inside a gas giant, a world like Jupiter, but magnified, amplified, pushed to extremes. The interior of such a planet is a place where chemistry breaks down, where atoms are forced into states that are impossible on Earth, where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. The temperature rises to thousands of degrees, hot enough to melt rock, hot enough to vaporize metal. The pressure rises to millions of times Earth's atmospheric pressure, crushing, compressing, reshaping matter into forms we can barely imagine. Now consider a planet where the entire atmosphere is a storm. Not a storm that lasts for days, or weeks, or months. A storm that has raged for centuries, for millennia, for as long as the planet has existed. This is not metaphorical. This is real. On Jupiter, the Great Red Spot is a storm that has been observed for over 300 years. It is so large that 3 Earths could fit inside it. The winds spiral inward at speeds exceeding 400 miles per hour, creating a vortex that is stable, persistent, relentless. But imagine a world where the entire atmosphere is like this, where every inch of the sky is filled with swirling clouds, lightning, thunder, rain, where the storms never end, never weaken, never die, where the lightning flashes are so frequent that the sky is never dark, never still, never calm, where the thunder rolls constantly, a low, rumbling hum that resonates through the entire atmosphere, a sound that never stops, never fades, never gives way to silence. This is a world where chaos is the norm, where order is the exception, where the concept of calm is meaningless, because calm does not exist. The atmosphere is in perpetual motion, driven by heat from the planet's interior, by radiation from its star, by the planet's own rotation. The storms are not anomalies. They are the default state. They are the planet's way of releasing energy, of balancing heat, of surviving. Imagine standing on such a world, if such a thing were possible. The wind would tear you apart. The lightning would strike you instantly. The rain would drown you before you could take a single step. But even in this impossibility, there is a strange beauty. The way the lightning illuminates the clouds, creating a strobe light effect that reveals the intricate patterns of the storm. The way the thunder resonates through the atmosphere, creating a sound that is almost musical, almost rhythmic. The way the planet itself seems to pulse, as if alive, as if breathing. This is a world where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. The energy is so intense that it ionizes the atmosphere, creating a plasma that glows with a faint, eerie light. The winds are so strong that they exceed the speed of sound, creating shock waves that ripple through the atmosphere like waves in an ocean. The storms are so persistent that they shape the planet's climate, its atmosphere, its very existence. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits. It follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront a simple truth. The universe is not designed for us. It is not designed for life. It is designed for extremes, for chaos, for processes that operate on scales we can barely comprehend. Drift now to a world where the surface is not solid, not liquid, but gas. A planet so hot, so massive, that it has no surface at all. The atmosphere simply gets denser and denser, deeper and deeper, until it transitions into a supercritical fluid, then into a liquid, then into a metallic state. There's no place to stand, no place to walk, no place to exist. This is a gas giant, but magnified, amplified, pushed to extremes. The planet is so massive that its gravity is crushing, compressing the atmosphere into states that are impossible on Earth. The temperature is so high that molecules break apart, atoms ionize, matter becomes plasma. The pressure is so great that even the concept of surface becomes meaningless. There is no boundary, no edge, no place where the atmosphere ends and the interior begins. Imagine trying to land on such a world. Your spacecraft would descend into the atmosphere, getting hotter and hotter, more and more pressurized. The instruments would fail one by one as the heat and pressure exceed their limits. The hull would deform, crack, collapse. And then, before you even reached what might be considered the interior, you would be destroyed, torn apart, vaporized. This is a world where the concept of surface is meaningless, where the idea of landing is impossible, where the very notion of existence is challenged by the sheer scale of the planet's mass, its gravity, its heat. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits. It follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding. On Earth, we take for granted the solidity of the ground beneath our feet, the stability of the surface we walk on. But out there, in the vastness of the universe, these things are not guaranteed. They are anomalies, rare, temporary, fragile. Consider the philosophical implications. If a planet has no surface, what does it mean to exist on it? What does it mean to land? What does it mean to survive? These are not just practical questions. They are existential questions. Questions about the nature of existence itself, about what it means to be, to exist, to survive. And what does this mean for us, for humanity? We are a species that craves solidity, stability, certainty. We build cities on solid ground. We walk on stable surfaces. We exist in a world that is predictable, reliable, constant. But out there, in the vastness of space, solidity is the exception, not the rule. Chaos is the norm. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable. And we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Now move to a world where the magnetic field is so strong that it distorts light itself. A planet orbiting a magnetar, the most magnetic object in the universe. The magnetar is a neutron star with a magnetic field trillions of times stronger than Earth's. The planet orbits at a safe distance, far enough to avoid being torn apart by the magnetic field, but close enough to feel its effects. Here, the magnetic field is so intense that it distorts the atoms themselves. The electron orbitals are stretched, compressed, reshaped. Chemical bonds are broken, formed, broken again. Matter behaves in ways that are impossible on Earth. The atmosphere is ionized, creating a plasma that glows with a faint, eerie light. The magnetic field lines are so strong that they trap particles, creating radiation belts that are deadly, relentless, unstoppable. Imagine standing on this planet, if such a thing were possible. The magnetic field would interfere with your nervous system, disrupting the electrical signals that control your body. Your thoughts would be scrambled, your movements uncoordinated, your senses distorted. The light would be bent, creating halos, arcs, spirals that seem to dance across the sky. The stars would appear distorted, their light bent by the magnetic field, creating a kaleidoscope of light, colors, shapes. This is a world where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. The magnetic field is so strong that it distorts atoms, breaks chemical bonds, reshapes matter. The radiation is so intense that it ionizes the atmosphere, creating a plasma that glows with a faint, eerie light. The magnetic field lines are so strong that they trap particles, creating radiation belts that are deadly, relentless, unstoppable. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits, it follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront the nature of reality itself. What is a magnetic field? What is radiation? What is matter? These are not abstract concepts. They are real, measurable, tangible. They shape the universe. They shape our lives. They shape our understanding of the cosmos. And out there, in the vastness of space, they operate in ways that challenge our understanding, that force us to rethink everything we thought we knew. Consider the philosophical implications. If the magnetic field is so strong that it distorts atoms, what does that mean for the concept of matter? What does it mean for the concept of reality? If atoms can be stretched, compressed, reshaped by a magnetic field, then matter is not fixed, not constant, not absolute. It is malleable, flexible, dependent on the environment, on the conditions, on the forces acting upon it. And what does this mean for us? For humanity? We are a species that craves certainty, absolutes, truths that are universal, unchanging, eternal. But out there in the vastness of the universe, certainty is the exception, not the rule. Reality is malleable, dependent on the environment, on the context, on the conditions. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable, and we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Journey now to a world where the night never ends. Not a night that lasts for hours, or days, or weeks. A night that has lasted for billions of years, that will last for billions more. That is eternal, unchanging, absolute. This is a planet orbiting a red dwarf, the most common type of star in the universe. Red dwarfs are small, dim, cool, emitting only a fraction of the light that our sun emits. They are also incredibly long-lived, burning their fuel slowly, steadily for trillions of years. The planet orbits so close to its star that it is tidally locked, one side facing the star forever, the other side turned away forever. The day side is bathed in a dim, reddish light, the color of old blood, the color of dried rust. The light is so weak that shadows are soft, indistinct, blurred. The temperature on the day side is just warm enough to prevent the atmosphere from freezing, but not warm enough to feel like sunlight. It is a perpetual twilight, a dim, reddish haze that never brightens, never fades, never changes. The night side is frozen, cold enough to turn the atmosphere into snow. The temperature hovers near absolute zero, the lowest possible temperature, where molecular motion nearly stops. The sky is black, not the deep blue black of Earth's night, but an absolute void, devoid of stars, as if the universe itself has been turned off. The atmosphere has collapsed, frozen, fallen as snow onto the surface. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all locked in ice, buried beneath layers of frozen time. Between the day and night sides, there is a twilight zone, a narrow band where the temperature is just right for liquid water to exist. But this is not a place of comfort. The winds here are relentless, driven by the extreme temperature difference between the day and night sides. They scream across the surface at hundreds of miles per hour, carrying clouds, storms, rain. The light is dim, reddish, the color of old blood. The shadows are soft, indistinct, blurred. Imagine standing in this twilight zone. The light is so weak that your eyes struggle to adjust. Colors are muted, washed out, indistinct. The air is thin, cold, difficult to breathe. The wind is relentless, constant, unstoppable. It never stops. It never weakens. It never gives way to calm. The sky is always overcast, always cloudy, always dim. There is no sunrise, no sunset, no day. No night, only twilight, perpetual, unchanging, eternal. This is a world where time itself feels broken, where the concept of a day, a night, a season is meaningless, where the laws of physics operate in ways that feel alien, unnatural. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits, it follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. Red dwarfs make up about 75% of all stars in the universe. They are the most common type of star, the most numerous, the most widespread, and most of them have planets orbiting close enough to be tidally locked. This means that the majority of planets in the universe are probably like this. One side frozen, one side baked, a narrow twilight zone in between. If life exists elsewhere in the universe, it is probably on a world like this. A world where the night never ends, where the day never begins, where twilight is eternal. Consider the philosophical implications. If life exists on such a world, how would it perceive time? How would it measure days, nights, seasons? How would it adapt to the perpetual twilight, the constant wind, the unchanging light? Would it develop a different sense of time, a different understanding of the universe? Would it see the twilight as beautiful, as natural, as inevitable? And what does this mean for us? For humanity? We are a species that craves change, variety, novelty. We wake up in the morning, we go to sleep at night. We experience seasons, we experience weather, we experience the passage of time. But out there, in the vastness of the universe, change is the exception, not the rule. Stasis is the norm. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable, and we are caught in the middle. Small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Drift now to a world where the stars themselves are dangerous. A planet orbiting in a globular cluster, a dense sphere of hundreds of thousands of stars packed into a space only a few dozen light years across. In our own galaxy, the stars are far apart, separated by light years of empty space. But in a globular cluster, the stars are so close that the night sky is filled with them, bright, dense, overwhelming. The sky here is not black. It is filled with stars, so many that they create a diffuse glow, a perpetual twilight even on the darkest night. The stars are so close that they perturb each other's orbits, creating chaos, instability, unpredictability. Planets are flung from their stars, cast into the void, become orphaned, adrift in the darkness. Stars collide, merge, explode, creating novae, supernovae, bursts of radiation that sterilize entire regions of the cluster. Imagine standing on this planet, looking up at the sky. The stars are so bright that they cast shadows. The Milky Way is not a faint band of light, but a dense forest of stars, so close that you can see individual stars with the naked eye. The sky is never dark, never still, never calm. It is always bright, always moving, always changing. But this beauty comes with a cost. The stars are so close that their gravitational influence perturbs the planet's orbit, creating instability, chaos, unpredictability. The planet's orbit may be disrupted, its path altered, its fate sealed. The radiation from nearby stars is intense, enough to strip away the atmosphere, to kill any form of life in an instant. The frequency of supernovae is high, enough to sterilize entire regions of the cluster, to wipe out life before it can even begin. This is a world where the night sky is beautiful, but dangerous. Where the stars are bright, but deadly. Where the beauty is a facade, a mask that hides the chaos, the instability, the unpredictability beneath. And yet, this planet exists. It orbits. It follows the laws of physics. It is a real, measurable part of the universe. The existence of such a world forces us to confront a simple truth. The universe is not designed for us. It is not designed for life. It is designed for extremes, for chaos, for processes that operate on scales we can barely comprehend. Consider the philosophical implications. If the night sky is so bright that it casts shadows, what does that mean for the concept of darkness? What does it mean for the concept of night? If darkness is absent, if night is perpetual twilight, then the concept of rest, of sleep, of dreams, is meaningless. Life on such a world would be different, alien, incomprehensible. And what does this mean for us, for humanity? We are a species that craves darkness, rest, silence. We need sleep, we need dreams, we need the passage from day to night. But out there in the vastness of the universe, darkness is the exception, not the rule. Light is the norm. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable. And we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Now move to a world where the ocean is not made of water, but of something else entirely. A planet so hot that water cannot exist as liquid, so cold that nitrogen freezes. But in between, there is a range of temperatures where other substances can exist as liquid. Methane, ethane, ammonia, sulfuric acid. These are the oceans of alien worlds. Seas that are not water, but something else, something alien, something incomprehensible. On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, there are lakes and seas of liquid methane and ethane. The temperature is so cold that water is frozen solid, as hard as rock. But methane and ethane are liquid, flowing, waving, rippling in the wind. The waves are low, slow, gentle, because the density of liquid methane is lower than water. The wind is weak, but enough to create ripples, small waves, movement. Imagine standing on the shore of such a sea. The sky is orange, hazy, filled with organic compounds that drift down from the atmosphere like snow. The light is dim, the color of old amber. The air is cold, thick, difficult to breathe. The sea is black, reflecting the orange sky, creating a mirror that is dark, still, perfect. The waves are low, slow, gentle, lapping against the shore in a rhythm that is almost hypnotic. But this is not a place where life as we know it could exist. Water is essential for life on Earth. It is the solvent that allows chemical reactions to occur, the medium that transports nutrients, the medium that allows cells to function. But on Titan, water is frozen solid. The solvent is methane, not water. The chemistry is different, alien, incomprehensible. And yet, life might exist there. Not life as we know it, but life as we don't know it. Life that uses methane instead of water, that thrives in cold instead of heat, that exists in a chemistry that is alien, incomprehensible. This is the possibility that drives scientists to explore these worlds, to search for life in the most unexpected places, to push the boundaries of what we think is possible. Consider the philosophical implications. If life can exist in a chemistry that is alien, incomprehensible, then what does that mean for the concept of life? What does it mean for the concept of existence? If life is not limited to water, to carbon, to Earth-like conditions, then life is more common, more widespread, more diverse than we ever imagined. And what does this mean for us? For humanity? We are a species that craves certainty, absolutes, truths that are universal, unchanging, eternal. But out there in the vastness of the universe, certainty is the exception, not the rule. Life is malleable, flexible, dependent on the environment, on the context, on the conditions. The universe is vast, complex, unpredictable, and we are caught in the middle, small, fragile, desperately trying to understand our place in the cosmos. Drift now to a world where the planet itself is dying. Not in the sense of a sudden catastrophe, not in the sense of a supernova or a collision, but in the slow, inevitable, unstoppable decay of a world that is running out of energy, out of heat, out of life. This is a planet that has cooled, frozen, become inert. The core has solidified, the magnetic field has collapsed, the atmosphere has escaped into space. The surface is a desert of dust and rock, cracked, fractured, barren. There is no wind, no water, no life. The sky is black, devoid of clouds, devoid of atmosphere. The stars shine brightly, unobscured, endless. The planet is dead, inert, silent. This is the fate of all planets. Eventually, they cool, freeze, become inert. The energy that drives their geology, their atmosphere, their climate, runs out. The core solidifies, the magnetic field collapses, the atmosphere escapes. The planet becomes a dead rock, orbiting in silence through the darkness. Earth will eventually meet this fate. In a few billion years, the sun will expand into a red giant, engulfing the inner planets, including Earth. But even before that, Earth will become uninhabitable. The sun will brighten, the temperature will rise, the oceans will evaporate. Life will die, the atmosphere will escape. The planet will become a dead rock. This is the inevitable fate of all worlds. Death, decay, silence. The universe is not eternal. Nothing is eternal. Everything ends, fades, dies. Consider the philosophical implications. If all planets eventually die, what does that mean for the concept of permanence? What does it mean for the concept of legacy? If everything ends, if everything fades, if everything dies, then what is the point of existence? What is the point of life? And what does this mean for us? For humanity? We are a species that craves permanence, legacy, meaning. We build monuments, we write books, we create art. We try to leave something behind, but out there in the vastness of the universe, permanence is the exception, not the rule.